Money is something that we all need in order to live a thriving life, just to live, even to survive. And we're going to be talking a little bit about money clutter. You ever heard that term before? Maybe not. I hadn't. And so tonight we're going to be talking about that with one of our authors in our book, Anatomy of Abundance, Micaela Bellopede. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Linda Sunshine West. I'm the founder and CEO of Action Takers Publishing. One of our books coming out, Anatomy of Abundance, has several authors in it that share about abundance. How do you become abundant in different areas of your life? Well, tonight I'm going to be interviewing one of the authors. We're going to be talking about money. Before we bring her up, I would love for you to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We're at Action Takers on all those platforms. So let's bring up Micaela Bellopede. And I love how you said how to say your name, because it's Pede and it's like payday, which is all about money, which is awesome.
It's perfect.
Micaela,
Hi, Linda.
Hi. I'm excited to talk to you because, money is something that a lot of us have a challenge with, like understanding it, how it can play a part in our lives. And a lot of us grew up with sayings like, money doesn't grow on trees. You got to pinch pennies. Money is the root of all evil. There's all these sayings that we learned growing up. And so I'd love for you to, talk about money from the positive aspect of it.
Great. I'd be happy to talk about that. Money is just energy. I break it down to something really simple. Everything in our life is energy. That's why the laws of energy that I speak about in the book can be used not only for our money, they can be used for our love life, for our health, for our homes, everything. It's just a flow. And unfortunately, most of us didn't grow up with an abundance mindset in our families. I had to relearn a lot of things and break a lot of stereotypes and false beliefs from my family. Most importantly, I want everybody to understand that it just needs to flow like water. Money is a flow just like water does. So if it stagnates, what happens to water when it just sits there and stagnates?
You get a lot of mosquitoes.
And moss, and it gets murky. It actually changes colors. So that's what most people are actually doing incorrectly with their money, is they think it needs to stay still. It's like, oh, I got to hold on to it tightly and not let go. One of the laws that I talk about in the book is the law of circulation. It needs to flow. It needs to move. The more it moves, the more comes. I'm a philanthropist. I started a nonprofit foundation about 14 years ago. And it's all about giving money away to help the world. And I have this kind of catchphrase that I would love for it to go viral, which is you can't outgive the universe. You can try, but it won't happen. It's like the more I give and the more I empty the cup and the wallet, the more it wants to flow back to me. So I have 1,000 stories that I've written about of things I've given away, and then it's come back to me in a better form.
Well, I'm going to stop you there because I want to talk a little bit about that, because there are people who give a lot of time to charity. They give money to charity. And there are some people that give it all. Like if you give it all, you won't have anything for yourself, but then more comes back to you. So how do you determine, what is the right amount to give? Because we can't really give away all of our money. If we give it away, then we won't have any. Right? Then we're living poor and we're letting other people live rich. No, is that incorrect thinking?
Well, first of all, that is one of the laws that is I talk about. It's called the law of tithing. Tithing, a lot of people think of the church. They think of it in the biblical sense, the 10%. But that law of 10% is mentioned in many, many, many different texts.
Mm.
You don't have to give it all away. The rule is 10%. But what I want people to understand is to look at it differently. Let me give you some examples. So I'm
Okay.
an entrepreneur, and one of the things that I'm really, really good at is delegating, hiring people to do stuff for me. So I can basically be retired. I retired in my late 40s, right? And people ask me about that. As a solo entrepreneur, how many entrepreneurs are trying to do everything themselves? I talk about this. Like, you need to change the way you look at spending money. You said, oh, I'm going to give it all away. Well, is that true? If I pay someone to, for example, clean my house, then they're paying their bills, they're paying their rent, they're paying for their child's schooling. If I pay a gardener to, do my garden, what I look at when I talk about circulating
Mm-hmm.
is, who am I helping? It's not just what I give to the foundation to help build schools and promote creativity and, help women that, were sex trafficked, get a new life. It's also the people that I circulate money to every single day. So yes, it's a 10% rule. It's not all of it. But then also look at where the other money's going when you're spending every day. Sometimes people get resentful of paying their bills or their taxes. And I really want people to understand that it's not about who the money's going to. It really isn't. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
the more I circulate it, the more that's coming back to me. The more people that I employ to help me have a beautiful, easy, like stress-free life, I'm actually circulating more money. So I think we have to think about it less from like categories. I know there are some teachers out there that say, okay, you have to have a jar for this and a jar for this and a jar for
Right.
that. And I used to do that. It was helpful to force me to play with my money more. It was helpful for me because I was a saver. Not, there's savers, there's spenders, right? I had to remind myself to go out and spend money. Now, that's not true for a lot of people, but once you get in the mindset of like, oh, I'm allowing this person to go to college. I'm allowing this person to, help pay for their mother's medical bills. Like, people
Mm-hmm.
are not looking at money. They're seeing it as this thing. It's like this thing, but it's actually just, what is it? It's just something that flows throughout the universe and needs to move around. I don't know how many ways I can express that to people. Stop looking at money as a coin or a dollar bill. Like,
I heard.
we're moving into electronic currency anyway. It's just this energy thing that's flowing around. And if I get the right mindset, like, oh, look at all these people that are being helped, I'm being helped too. It's not just about giving. It's about, what does that allow me to do, Linda?
Right, right.
Like,
Yeah, I hear you. It's been an interesting shift for me for sure. I've hired money coaches and life coaches. I've hired a lot of different coaches, and in hiring them, right, I'm investing my money in them to help me. And so investing money in myself. And I think that for me, that first time that I actually invested in myself, that was a huge deal. Like, I
yeah,
had to really think about this because especially as a mother, I have two kids, and I was a single mother for a few years when they were young, and just having that mindset of like always helping them and always being there for them. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for a lot of women is like especially after the kids are gone, now what? It's kind of like this now what syndrome, right? I don't know. Maybe that's a real syndrome. I don't know. Or I just made that up.
Empty nest. Yes, it is a
Yeah,
real
the empty
syndrome.
nest. Yeah. I did not have empty nest syndrome at all. Like I was like, thank goodness, I was ready for them to go. Well, let me just take a quick break here. We're talking about the book Anatomy of Abundance. You can get your copy at go.patrinawisdom.com/abundance. There are a lot of free gifts over there as well. So head on over there, get your copy of the book. And Micaela has a chapter in the book, and it's titled The 8 Energetic Laws of Money. And so, we're talking about there are 8 different laws. So you got to get the book to read about all of them. We don't have time to cover all of them or anything, but I'm curious, how much does our mindset pay into what we think of money, like our belief system, and how hard is it to change our belief system so that we can see it as a currency? I heard the reason they call it currency is because it's a current. I don't know if that's true, because I don't know if it's called currency in all countries. That would be like a US thing maybe. But, and that right there really helped me to see it differently, is to see the current, like how it goes in and out. There's the ebb and the flow, and it comes in my pocket and it goes back out because I'm helping other people. And it really helped me to see it that way. And so thanks for sharing that. But how hard is it to make that mindset shift? Do you work with people on mindset shift related to money, or what is it that you do to help people related to money?
Well, I think it's a process. I think it's really important to really get clear of what you start with. Most people aren't even aware of what they've been taught. It was just so ingrained in what they heard from their parents every single day. So when I had, let's say, money coaches and money teachers, the first thing they would ask me is like, let's get really clear about where you're coming from. There's a whole other layer to this that I have spent a lot of my life on, which is like cellular DNA and what's in our memory and what comes from our ancestors. So it's not just what we heard from our parents, it's, what they heard. And, it goes back 7 to 13 generations, depending on who you talk to. Mm-hmm. But to answer the question from this book, do I think it's difficult? For me, I started out I don't know how many years ago it's been. I was a hypnotherapist at one point of my career, and I really looked at the subconscious. And about 90% of everything we do is coming from the subconscious. How we spend, how we save, who we choose, who we attract. I mean, it's literally running the show. So is it changeable? Yes, absolutely it is. Some people are working from the wrong part of their brain, though. I truly believe that we have to get to the core, like the subconscious beliefs, the stuff that was there, like from the time we were born even. Mm-hmm. Uproot the beliefs that we carry around about worthiness. What am I worth? How many people are not charging enough for what they do? That's, a big topic amongst entrepreneurs. What do you think you're worth? And
that question always bothers me, by the way, because I don't equate my worth to money. So when people ask that question, it really bothers me, because I do not equate my worth to money,
Right. But for entrepreneurs, it is a big topic, because it's about, okay, so it speaks to how much you're allowing in. Okay. And this is where I think the subconscious is so powerful. Most people have what's called a money set point. So even lottery winners within a year, there's a lot of proof about this, a lot of research. They'll go back to the same amount of money they had within a year. Even if they win 10 million or 10 billion, doesn't matter. They have a money set point, and it keeps going back to that same point. So if that point is broke, then it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how much money you make. That's why you see these people that have mega success, and then they get sued and they lose it all, because the money set point is low, and that money set point is sitting in their subconscious.
How do you change that money set point?
How did I change it? I I did do hypnotherapy. There were different kinds of hypnosis that I worked on. Affirmations. I wrote about the power of affirmations in my book. I used to write on my mirrors. Some of my clients would put Post-its all over their house.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I like to write with lipstick on the mirror and, just see it every day. I did work with coaches. For me personally, I would say that the toughest piece there was when you need to surpass your family. That's a real big one. If your family was, really wealthy, then this isn't so much of an issue. But if your family was poor, or let's just say low income, there comes to a point when you reach the ceiling and you have to actually choose to go beyond where your parents or your grandparents or your siblings, have gone. And that takes a lot of work around self-love. I always say self-love is the gem. It's the key. You love yourself, you can heal anything.
Yeah, it's
And
interesting. Interesting that you say that, because there's times when in families there's family dynamics, right? And the family dynamics sometimes might be that, well, who do you think you are? To become rich, or who do you think you are to do this or that or what have you? And it really can play a big crap on your head, there. And so getting through that, man, there's a lot of topics we could talk about on this for sure. But I just want to make sure that we talk about your book. You have your book is called Happiness is Not a Destination. So why don't you talk a little bit about that book as well?
I wrote that book around when I turned 50. I'm 56 now. And this book talks about money, but it also talks about a lot of other things like health and love, manifesting money, manifesting love, manifesting abundant health. And it's basically an autobiography. I went to 50 countries. I wrote little stories of things I learned in each country. And then it has reflection questions, and it has action steps, and it has a great index at the end of it where I talk about all the teachers I worked with over the years. How did I heal myself from cancer? How did I retire in my 40s? There's all these things about manifesting, but I show how did I get there? What book did I read? What exercises did I do? What kind of healing modality did I use?
How was that, writing that book? Because, through the process of basically journaling, right? Doing your journal and putting it into a book and stuff. What was that process like for you to do that?
Well, I've been writing journals since probably middle school. I have boxes. I gave away most of my possessions, but I kept my journals. I always say to people, journals are really great because they show us how far we've come. I was having a conversation with one of our other authors just about this yesterday, about how we don't see our progress. We've been trained to see what's missing. So we have no idea, how much we've grown, how much we've overcome, but our journals show us. I can open up a journal from 1983 and be like, okay, so this is what I was struggling with then, and that doesn't bother me anymore.
Right.
What was it like to write about my life? I thought it was actually quite fun because it allowed me to go back 50 countries, 50 years of my life. There's things I've forgotten about. There's places I've been and people that I met that taught me something valuable that I forget now. So it was great to go back and really look at how did I accumulate this massive amount of information, and I want everybody to have it.
Awesome. Well, you can get your copy of Happiness is Not a Destination on Amazon. Head on over there, and it's by Micaela Bellopede. We got payday in the house. Payday in the house. Go get your copy of her book, right away, right away. Also get your copy of Anatomy of Abundance. You can get that book at go.patrinawisdom.com/abundance, and go get that book as well, with a lot of free gifts from the authors. So Micaela, what is it that you would like our readers, in reading the book, what would you like them to take away from it?
My chapter has got a lot about how energy flows. And I really want readers to walk away with the idea that when we clean out our space, we were just talking about this earlier, clean out our wallet, clean out our house, clean out our minds, clean out our bodies, the universe just wants to bring us stuff. Like, there's not a lot of efforting happening in a clear space. So I would say that's one of the laws that I mentioned in the book, is the law of vacuum. So I think it's one of the most powerful things that people can do starting right now, today, is go and clean something. Your wallet, clean it out so the more money can flow in. Clean out your body, clean out your drawers, clean out your garage, clean out your trunk of your car. I cannot express enough how much these small things change the flow of what's happening in our life, not just with money, but with love, with joy, with health. It's all the same thing. So keep it like circulating, keep it free, keep it open, and you will see results. I guarantee it.
Well, I have my desk isn't that bad, but it's got some things on here that I haven't touched in probably a year. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to start there, right? Just start small. It doesn't have to be the whole house or anything. I'm going to start with one very small area. It's only about this big. I'm going to start right there. And so, just cleaning that one area, because I see it all the time. It's right there. You guys can't see it, but it bothers me because I don't even know what it is anymore. So why do I have it there? I'm going to clean that out. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. And Micaela, thanks for being part of this book, being part of this project, and sharing your brilliance with us. It's really incredible, what we can do when we tap in and we see, there's this different areas of clutter in our lives, whether it's money clutter, it's stuff clutter, whatever it is, it can clutter us up. And then this will help us, by clearing through that clutter, this will help us to leave room to bring more good stuff in. So we'll see you guys later, and go get your copy of the book, go.patrinawisdom.com/abundance. Thank you so much, Micaela.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks for having me.
One of the things that I've personally found from my experience of working with Action Takers Publishing is that I've walked away with more friends than I had before, because of the relationship that you build with the authors while working in an anthology. I think it's an amazing project to be able to get published. It's a fantastic way to get published the first time, and I've almost seen people who get hooked on doing anthologies, because once that bug is bitten, you feel like you can release more and more and more and more stories, and Linda's got a bunch of titles that I think resonates with a lot of us who live in the real world.